withdrawing its bid for the online auction company. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Progressive presents Heroes That Keep Truckers Going. Today's hero, the true crime podcaster you listen to during a long haul. Yes, you may never look at a pair of pliers the same way again, or your spouse using pliers. But boy, you were entertained. Thanks, hero. Another thing that can keep truckers going, Progressive Truck Insurance with primary liability limits up to $2 million. Get a quote at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. $2 million limit is not available in all states.
This is Talk Radio, WCZN.
1819 News.
U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville continues to rail against Dr. Anthony Fauci for lying to the American people during the COVID crisis and causing many to suffer and even die due to his lack of truthfulness about the cause of the virus and treatment of it. Tuberville was a member of the Senate Health Committee when Fauci testified to that committee in 2021 and 2022. Tuberville said that senators trusted him at the time, but have since discovered that he lied significantly and consistently to Congress and to Americans. Tuberville believes that the state should pursue charges against Fauci, since the pardon given to Fauci by the Biden administration only covers federal charges. Tuberville has even spoken with Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall about the need to bring justice for the families here in the state who were affected by Fauci's push for lockdowns, as well as forcing people to take vaccines that did more harm than the actual virus. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Did you know that 70% of people experience a potentially traumatic event in their lifetime, and that 6 out of every 100 adults face PTSD every day? Help us bring hope to these survivors by signing up for your Alabama Distinctive PTSD Awareness License Plate today. The great thing is you can sign up no matter when your current plate renews, and the first year is complimentary. All you need is your VIN number on hand. Drive awareness, drive hope, and customize your plate today at atease.org.
A Geneva County woman is under arrest for stealing taxpayer money up to $93,000 as she worked as a clerk for Geneva County. 52-year-old Ashley Powell was arrested after a grand jury indictment was issued. The Special Prosecution Division within the Alabama Attorney General's office will continue to prosecute this case since it involves public corruption and abuse of power. A Jemison man drowned this past weekend while out on Logan Martin Lake. The drowning victim has been identified as 55-year-old Jody Landrum. The St. Clair County Sheriff's Office is investigating this case. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This is Talk Radio, WCZN.
Bill Crawford here for the Regenesis Stem Cell Center, the place to go for golfers' elbow pain. Traditional treatments require significant time away from the golf course and often don't work. Dr. Charles Lee can treat golfer's elbow using platelet-rich plasma extracted from the patient's blood and get you back on the golf course after a 2-hour visit. Golfer's elbow can be permanently eliminated for a fixed price of $585. Golf season is here. Enjoy pain-free golf with just one visit to Regenesis.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
When a team sticks together, it shows in the way they work and the way they treat you.
We don't just hire great people, they stay. On average, our managers have been with us over 15 years and company-wide turnover is under 3%.
It's a culture built on integrity and heart.
When you call, you get someone who knows your name, understands your business, and is invested in your success.
And that means service you can count on every time.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at All About Water. Crazy name, huh? Well, let me introduce you to them. All About Water is the top pond builder anywhere in the Tennessee Valley, and that includes remodeling or cleaning out existing ponds as well. They also have monthly maintenance plans for your pond. Don't have a pond? Well, how about a fountain or water feature for your property to bring that soothing sound of running water to your happy place. On the other hand, maybe you have water on your property that you don't want. Well, Ryan at All About Water is all about water, so he could take care of that as well. He has a background in fluid dynamics, and what that means is that he could take care of any water issue that you have. Finally, how about that irrigation system that you have or that you want? Well, they do installs and maintenance and repairs on those as well because they are all about water. Learn more at allaboutwaterllc.com. That's allaboutwaterllc.com.
Your Fox 54 update.
I'm Fox 54 weather impact meteorologist Emily Owen. Scattered showers and thunderstorms remain in the forecast for this Monday, mainly in the afternoon. Otherwise, we'll see mostly sunshine with high temperatures warming into the low 90s for the afternoon. Heading into Monday night, we'll continue to sit under a mostly clear sky. Low temperatures fall into the low 70s.
Your Fox 54 forecast. Only on Talk Radio WZZN. This is The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN. A compassionate, conservative, reasoned voice. Not just for today's headlines, but for issues that matter to you. Perspective from a distinguished career of service in the U.S. Army. Courage from hours in the pilot seat of a military helicopter in war and in peace. Knowledge of cultures from around the world. Experience from a lifetime of service to America. What matters to you, from the dinner table to the halls of power. Conservative, compassionate, reason. That's The Point.
Welcome, fellow Alabama friends, citizens, and patriots, one and all. It is August 10th, and guess what? We are 25 days away from kickoff of pro and college football. College football. Can't wait for that, and we're here in studio on this hot weather impact day, I guess as Jordan Dressman would say, with producer extraordinaire Brian Temple. Brian, how you doing?
You know, the weather is impacting me. It's brutal out there.
It is brutal out there. I had to go out this morning and just do a minor task in the yard and was drenched with sweat after about 5 minutes.
Let me tell you about our house. It was too hot for the dog to go outside, and the only thing that worked was for me to hold a golf umbrella over her while she did her business.
Wow. And tell me that dog is not spoiled.
No, not at all. But Ollie the Wonder Dog is quite the princess. So, she stood around and waited for me. She looked at my golf umbrella by the door and looked at me and looked at it, looked at me. I said, all right.
Okay. Well, hey, Winston, I guess he's not the wonder dachshund. Winston, the spoiled brat, he pokes his little snout outside the door, sniffs around, senses the temperature, and turns around and goes right back.
Yep.
Yep. So
he's smarter than us.
He's smarter than us. Speaking of smarter than us, in studio today we have Fox 54 news anchor Kenesha Dees, as we always do on Monday. Kenesha, how you doing?
Hi. I don't know about all of that, Bill, but happy to be here. Just sharing what I know for today, and we have quite a bit going on today. But speaking of weather, we really should have enjoyed the 80s last week while we could.
Yeah, it is not going to be the 80s this week. And, you know, the thing I hated about this weather, and Jordan talked about it when he was on the show Thursday, is it's nice and hot and sunny in the weekday all day, and then the weekend comes and you get a little sun in the morning. The humidity builds, and about the time you're ready to go cook out or do something like that, you go to your Fox 54 weather app and see that there is trouble brewing, and it's coming right your way.
Brewing is the right word because it is hot, boiling hot.
Well, it's kind of like living at the beach. You know, in the beach, same thing happens. You get the thunderstorms every afternoon, and it's just, you know, if you have a little patience, you can wait them out usually and go do what you had intended.
But you're at the beach. You put up with that for a few days and then you go home.
That's right.
Here, you just got to live with it.
You just got to live with it. So, speaking of just getting to live with stuff, what are we having to just live with here in Huntsville these days, Kenesha?
Oh gosh, so much going on. You mentioned the countdown towards football season. Well, we also have the countdown 15 days until the municipal elections here in the city of Huntsville.
Well, and a lot of people just kind of overlook that.
Mm-hmm.
The turnout is normally not the best in the world, but I can tell you and we'll talk about some of the candidates in a minute, but my experience has been this. And back when I used to work in the housing industry and spend some time in the Capitol, one of my friends, a state representative, he and I were talking one day, and I said, "What's the most important vote you can make?" And he said, "It's your city officials."
Yeah, absolutely.
They're the ones who fix your ditches, make sure the roads look okay. They have a big hand in your school system. So today's the last day to register, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And I understand you have been interviewing lots of the city officials that are coming up for election.
I have, yeah, pretty much all of districts for City Council 2, 3, and 4, and one candidate incumbent for school board. Still looking at securing the other candidates, but so far I pretty much have all of the City Council, and we've begun to air those candidates as early as last week. We started off with District 2, Councilmember Little, and also his challenger, Thomas Kazez. And so last week, we talked a bit about infrastructure. I mean, you mentioned how important it is for people to vote locally. It really is important in voting for who they want to represent their area. With Huntsville growing by leaps and bounds, we talked about the roads infrastructure. The district in which Councilmember Little covers includes the Cove area. And we talked about Old Big Cove Road and how there are plans for expansion, but from what we understand, it'll take some time before they actually start to expand that road, Old Big Cove Road. And Councilmember Little said that they had talks about this way since 2010, and he understands it's a tedious process and it takes time, but he does recognize the need because there's more housing developments going on up there, and his challenger Thomas Kazez, he spoke about perhaps focusing more in terms of infrastructure, focusing more on public transit and creating more developments in areas that are conducive to public transit in an effort to get more people off the road and onto public transportation instead of actually driving on those roads was his thought. But we have all of that. That's already up on our website. We aired that last week. And this week we are going to focus on not even this week, today, we will focus on District 3.
Well, District 3 happens to be my district.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's I'm going to have to tune in and watch that.
Yes.
That is where our incumbent city council president, Miss Jenny Robinson, she's there, and she's been there for quite some time.
12 years.
12 years, and she's facing a challenge from Liliana Painter and John Stewart. And all of them have good backgrounds. They really, really do. And whoever gets the nod from the citizenry of Alabama, they're going to have a good council person. And it's, I don't know, it's one of those choices where, we're not allowed to endorse people on the radio. So I'm certainly not going to do that because I can't. But that's one where, I don't know. I have a leaning one way, but I'll just leave it at that. So,
well, the district directly impacts you because you live in it. So I would imagine that you would have an interest. Like you said, you'll be tuning in tonight to
absolutely.
See, yeah.
So you're saying I can't endorse Gomez Adams? He's creepy, he's kooky, and he's right for America.
He is right for wasn't there an episode of The Addams Family where he actually ran for some office?
I believe so.
But yes, you have my blessing to endorse Gomez Adams, and maybe he'll win something. I don't know. But hey, a lot more stuff to get to. A lot of the other districts, we've got Bill Kling. He's been on the city council since 1988. Oh
my gosh, yes. So he's also someone who I spoke with. I spoke with Council President Robinson, spoke with Liliana Painter, Today at 3 are the plans to speak with Mr. John Stewart. But I did talk with Councilmember Kling, and he gave a little intro. He's like, well, you know what, Kenesha, before I got into public office, I used to do what you were doing. I was on the radio doing what you were doing too, Bill. Another Bill. Yeah. So he was just sharing his story, and believe it or not, before he walked into the studio, he was walking around. I think it was the Hollywood. I forget the name, but it's a development, Hollywood development in his district, and just looking at the improvements he said that he's seen. And what he will continue to do in his district. So spoke with him and also his challenger, Nick Freevold.
Well, I think Kling's hallmark or his trademark is that he walks through all of his districts all the time. Yeah. So let's go ahead, Brian, and take a break, and we'll come back with Kenesha and a lot more to talk about that's happening in Old Hunts Vegas.
You're listening to The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN.
Bill Crawford here for the Regenesis Stem Cell Center, the place to go for golfers' elbow pain. Traditional treatments require significant time away from the golf course and often don't work. Dr. Charles Lee can treat golfers' elbow using platelet-rich plasma extracted from the patient's blood and get you back on the golf course after a 2-hour visit. Golfer's elbow can be permanently eliminated for a fixed price of $585. Golf season is here. Enjoy pain-free golf with just one visit to Regenesis.
Take it right to the edge with Donato's Pizza. That's right, with Donato's, they don't waste any space. And if you're going to put 100 slices of pepperoni on a pizza, you need to go edge to edge. And that provolone cheese is smoked and aged in Wisconsin. All of Donato's produce comes from right here in the Tennessee Valley as well. And Donato's is more than just pizza. Check out the subs, calzones, and wings as well. 2 locations in the Valley to serve you, in Madison on Madison Boulevard and in Huntsville on the South Parkway. Donato's Pizza.
Hey folks, Arthur Seed, managing partner at University Kia, letting you know we are proud supporters of Alabama and Auburn football. Swing by University Kia today and check out our huge selections of brand new Kias, including the spacious Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the slick new K5, the sporty Kia Seltos. We've got perfect cars for every lifestyle and budget. Visit universitykia.com to view all our amazing offers and get pre-approved amenities, because we want to see you in a Kia. Roll Tide, War Eagle.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
At the Huntsville Sports Commission, we do sports. The Rocket City is your destination for world-class sports in North Alabama. The Huntsville Sports Commission brings elite tournaments, championships, and other exciting athletic events to our city. From youth leagues to national championships, we're driving tourism, boosting local business, and building a stronger, more active community. When you team up with us, we'll worry about the details so you don't have to. We do sports.
AL cert number 21014.
Welcome into the hottest and coolest game show around called The Freeze. Today's contestant, Bob. Bob, can you tell me the heating and air business that provides free service with repair?
Is it Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
Can you tell me which heating and air business provides free second opinions?
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning.
You are our grand prize winner. You have won a visit from the #1 heating and air business in the Tennessee Valley.
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
That's right. Talent Heating and Air is coming to you.
This is Thomas with Talent Heating and Air Conditioning, and you don't have to win a game show to use us. We have free second opinions year-round, and this summer we're doing free service calls with a repair. So just remember, call Talent Heating and Air Conditioning at 256-503-4490 or visit us on our website at talenthvac.com.
This is Jen with The Haven, a private event space located downtown Huntsville. If you haven't been before, this is the perfect spot for your event. Whether it's Christmas, the holidays, birthdays, weddings, rehearsal dinners, you name it, I can provide that perfect event for you. We tailor everything just for your needs, from food to flowers to the band to drinks. You name it, we've got it. The Haven, located at Meridian Crossings, downtown Huntsville.
Your home of the Rocket City Trash Pandas is Talk Radio WZZN.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Talk Radio WZZN, and this is The Point with Bill Crawford. That's me, along with producer extraordinaire Brian Temple and Fox 54 News anchor Miss Kenesha Dees. Kenesha, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I can't complain. Just hit the ground running today, this Monday.
Well, you hit the ground running today, and then you're going to get out of here and remain running, it appears, as you try to make it back to your 3 o'clock interview. But we will certainly get you out of here in plenty of time to do that. We were talking a little bit about the today, August 10th, is the last day you can qualify to vote in the municipal elections. So if you're from around here, it's kind of your civic duty to do those kind of things, I think.
Absolutely. You were mentioning before the break about the importance of voting locally because they directly affect your quality of life, the way you live, and why not exercise your opportunity to vote? But yeah, we were just going down the line of city council district candidates, and I believe we left off with District 3. That 3 o'clock you mentioned will be John Stewart, who I'll be talking with, and that'll also be what we air tonight. We will be hearing from Council President Robinson, Liliana Painter, and John Stewart. I will be
Those are all tonight?
All tonight, yeah.
Oh, I got to hear that.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk specifically, because I try to target different angles for each district. Last week I talked about infrastructure, and that included roads, transportation. This go around with District 3, I will discuss data centers and flock cameras, license plate readers. And those two have been like really buzzwords and hot topics at city council meetings, and we've covered it extensively. So it'd be great to hear what the candidates have to say about those hot topics, all dealing with information.
Well, the flop camera thing, there's actually a story in Albertville where a police officer was accessing that data to track the activities of either his ex-wife or girlfriend or something like that, and that's just not a good thing.
I'm glad you brought that up. He's no longer on the force.
Well, good.
And that's one of the stories that we were tracking down today, or are tracking down today. So I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people have a lot of mistrust. We've heard about the flock cameras. There's a sense of invasion of privacy. And so it really has been something that our reporters have just covered steadfast, nonstop, and this just brings to light a new perspective of how these flock cameras could be used for good and the not so good.
Well, now just for clarification, because that's kind of a little confusing words. The word is flock, F-L-O-C-K. It's not flop. It's
no.
Well, it sounds like it could go either way, but flock cameras essentially are just a cluster of cameras that are sitting on a pole taking pictures.
Yes, yeah. So that's like the formal name. That's I guess you would say the company, because there's several different names for what are called license plate readers. So that's essentially what flock cameras are, license plate readers. Flock is just one of the brands, and that is what we have. And you'll learn a little bit more. Councilmember Robinson, she explains its use in the city. She goes in depth and gives her input on the use of them. So does Liliana Painter. And of course, I'll be excited to hear what Mr. Stewart has to say about them when we have our interview at 3. But yeah, they talked at length about its use and also the data centers. Councilmember Robinson, President Robinson, informed me quite a bit about the data center we have here at Meta, Huntsville Meta?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she was explaining how they worked with the TVA and Huntsville Utilities because they exceeded their data limitations, and they came to a compromise where in their next phase they would work out in Birmingham. So there was essentially a workaround because there's also some opposing thoughts about having data centers in these towns. You've seen it all over the country, even here in North Alabama, like Summerville and Fort Payne. And you'll notice they're like in more rural areas. And so there's just this like protest about them. She gave her thoughts about those two and what she believes data centers will do for us. But we've also heard from Senator Tommy Tuberville and Congressman Dale Strong about their thoughts about data centers too. So,
well, data centers have been a dominant topic on this show recently. Everybody who's running for state office or local office wants to weigh in on data centers, and it boils down essentially to damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of choice, because as Senator Sam Gavin was on the show one day, and we were talking about data centers, and he said, I've got a lot of people who don't want them, and the way they're complaining to me is through email or Facebook, which you don't have email or Facebook unless you have data centers. And the essential complaint on a data center is they use too much power, they use too much water, they employ a lot of people initially, and then all those people go away once it gets built, and they're not a revenue producer. But my thoughts on this are these are the same kind of things that people said in the history of this country when the country was electrified, or when railroads are built, or when the internet came into being. People were going, oh, this is not good. Well, it ends up it's a part of the infrastructure that you have to have. And Brian has a saying that he says, everything in the world is figure-outable. And you can figure this out. You know, there's over 3,000 data centers in the country, and there has to be, quote, data from them that can tell you the kind of problems that you run into and how to overcome those. So did your interviews reveal any insights as to people's either being for or against data centers?
Oh, gosh, I don't want to give it away, but I'm smiling because a lot of what you're saying is maybe some of what you'll hear tonight. I'm not going to say which of the candidates. By process of elimination, I've yet to interview one, which is later, but they have a lot of insight that I would be more than happy for you all to listen in on here, especially if it's in your district, and I know it's in your district, Bill.
Right.
But yeah, they offered quite a bit of insight on the data centers and the flock cameras, the license plate readers too. So it'd be interesting to hear what Mr. Stewart has to say about that. I really would like to know what he has to say because, I mean, it's part of our everyday life, as we've known, the flock cameras and the data centers. And another thing, too, going back to data centers, some of the complaints, too, have been the noise.
Right.
Yeah. The pollution, yes, the proposed pollution, but also the noise.
Well, that's
and
why
the
they
humming.
put them out in the middle of nowhere.
Right. In those rural areas, yes. Yeah.
That's what we in Tennessee call the middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere.
A politically correct journalist says rural areas.
But yeah.
Well, tell our listeners again what time your broadcast is on tonight, because I'm certainly going to want to listen in.
Oh, great. Well, believe it or not, you'll be happy to hear this, Bill. The stories that I'm airing with all three candidates will be at 5 in our 5:30 show.
Oh, I can make that.
Yeah, 5:30, 6, and our 9 o'clock shows. And we plan to have some web extras, what we call web extras. The web extras will more than likely focus on the flock cameras.
Okay.
So we'll do that. We'll focus on the flock cameras. That'll be our web extra which Brian so always just eloquently promotes our Fox 54 app. though that extra will be on our Fox 54 app pertaining to.
I'm just sucking up to your news director.
What's that?
I'm just sucking up to your news director. No, y'all have a great web team, and I know that it's a pretty shallow bench. So what they're able to achieve, I'm impressed.
Oh, I cannot wait to tell our web team about that again. Oh, every time I tell them, they just grin from ear to ear, but they need to hear that. They need to hear that.
And I keep telling your news director they don't make enough money. So they'll smile at that too.
Well, let me ask you this.
Sure.
Speaking of cameras, license plate readers, cameras all over the world, have you happened to had a chance to see the movie The Amateur yet?
No. You recommend it, I guess.
Take a look at that, and you just wonder if the cameras that are depicted in that movie are actually really out there tracking everything you do. But take a look at that, and we'll talk about it one day.
The Amateur. Okay.
So speaking of data centers and artificial intelligence, I understand you've also had some dealings recently with some AI stuff, for lack of a better term, that was going on in Fort Payne.
Yeah, well, we'll pivot to Fort Payne. We'll pivot to that. But in terms of AI, I know tonight one of our reporters is focusing on the use of AI in schools, which when I was in school, I mean, had the internet, sure. But now you're just taking on this whole different beast called AI, which just, as you're getting information from AI, it's getting information from you. And so one of our reporters, Logan Alexandra Russell, she'll be addressing students' use of AI and how to use it in the right way. I remember, I'll say this is a little personal story. I remember when we really start to catch on the wave of AI, maybe longer than that, but I'll say a couple years ago, I went to a training put on by corporate, the company that owns our local news station. It was in Atlanta. We learned a lot about AI and how, as much as people see it as a danger because you have to verify what's real and what's not, it could be used to your benefit. And the host of that workshop was none other than Al Tompkins. Like, he is one of the most well-respected journalists, and I had the pleasure of not only meeting him there, but at NABJ, which is happening this week. And for those who don't know, it's National Association of Black Journalists. I had the pleasure of meeting him again, and he really laid out ways in which you can differentiate what is AI and what's not, but also how to use it to extract information, still verifying that information that AI is providing you, but, of course, using your own judgment, your own discretion. And so AI, even though it may come across as a little scary, if you know how to use it well, and not in a way to necessarily cut corners, I think it could be very useful. And that's what I believe Logan Alexandra's story will focus on in terms of kids in school and using AI in their education.
Well, one thing, I read a recent story about, and I've got a little personal AI story too, about a professor who, what he did was he had some essay questions, and at the end of the essay question, he put a nonsensical phrase in there that was in white font. And when you copied and pasted it and put it into AI, the students they didn't know it was there. But the AI did, because it could read the white font. And what happened was when they would get their answers, if they were just copying and pasting the answers into their essays that they were submitting, it made it generate a little nonsense phrase like the Merchant of Venice is sold out of olives or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And so they'd turn their papers in and he'd say, hey, guess what? And I had a guy that worked for me from a company outside the gate, and he was a professor doing some stuff with some students. And what he did was he took his questions and entered all of them into various AI things and got the answers back. And that way he could tell right away who was not using that And I use AI a lot too. What I do is I use it as just kind of a start point. And it gives you a start point. It gives you good ideas. It will list other websites that have the information you're looking for. There's ways you can use it. And by the way, on that door out there, all those pictures are from ChatGPT.
Oh my gosh. And that's another thing, people can use it for novelty reasons, graphics and such. But when you get into like academia and you're using AI, solely AI, that could be very problematic.
I created some logos for the Army-Navy game, and I showed them to a graphic designer, and this graphic designer said, this stuff's going to put me out of business. So enough about AI. We could go on to that forever and ever. So what are some of the other things that are in your little news world these days?
Yeah, so like within I want to say within the past couple hours or so, we got some breaking news of reports of a weapon on the campus of a Fort Payne City school, and the whole district was placed on lockdown. Like all the schools, Fort Payne was placed on lockdown, and it actually, according to Fort Payne City Schools, they said around 10:45 this morning is when the schools were placed on lockdown. Local law enforcement responded, and as of now, maybe about an hour or so ago, they gave the all clear.
Well, did it say what kind of weapon it was?
No, it didn't say, but there were reports that there were, and of course, anytime law enforcement hear that there are reports, they're going to take proactive measures, and that's what they did. The whole district was on lockdown. And we're still learning more. We have a reporter out there right now. Our Fox 54's Caleb
So we'll be
Aguayo.
able to hear about that tonight.
Yes, he's out there on the ground at the school district because it was district wide. So I'm not sure specifically which school campuses he will go to, but he'll be out there and providing us a report for our shows later on. But it's kind of It's a little scary given that kids just went back to school. I believe this was their third or fourth day back to school, maybe their third day. That's a little scary, and I'm sure it frightened a lot of parents and, of course, the kids themselves. So,
just a couple of weeks ago, there was a young man who had done a school shooting, and he was sentenced to a long time in prison, and his father got sentenced too.
Oh, yes.
So, and I've been into a couple of these schools recently. I don't know how, frankly, they're able to get a weapon into those things. They all seem to have metal detectors, and they have on-site police officers. So hopefully that's a problem that can be rectified, and also hopefully there was no real weapon involved. Maybe it was just a scare. That would.
Yeah, according to, this was about 47 minutes ago, this was shared on Fort Payne City Schools. They were saying that the immediate threat has ended, and that over the past several school years, they've taken significant steps to strengthen safety and security. And according to this press release, they say they don't have any details that they can release during the ongoing investigation.
Okay, I think Brian
some time ago there was some discussion, maybe a couple of years ago, discussion about having school resource officers and having more school resource officers. I was wondering, especially for a county school like that, how they've gone in the years since. Have they added, or are they looking to add more resource officers? Because there's a lot of intangibles that will pick up more than just a metal detector. Especially these officers embedded with these kids every day, they learn patterns and they learn body language and be able to see some things.
Yeah, to your point, Brian, according to them, they said over the past several years, they've taken significant steps to strengthen their safety. And part of those steps that they include are school resource officers and a Centrigix crisis alert system is what it's called. It reminds me, too, of, really quickly, just deviating from Fort Payne to Huntsville here in our area. A couple weeks ago, I interviewed the superintendent of schools, and we talked about it, too, here, how they've really just relied heavily on, obviously, their their school resource officers. But OpenGate, it was a system that they implemented district-wide, I think 2024, after there were constant reports of weapons being found on campuses, even like middle schools.
Right.
So it seems like there's maybe collectively there's been an effort across North Alabama to bolster that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that city schools have their gates closed during school hours and things like that. I mean, those that have gates, but I've always wondered how that had played out. Getting this, because I mean, these becomes, not just police officer, but they become mentors, they become counselors, they become, they read the body language, they can, kind of feel what's going to happen, or at least know where trouble's brewing. May not know exactly what it is, but they know trouble's brewing because they spend so much time with these kids.
They do.
Well, Kenesha, I know you're going to have to get out of here in a minute. You've got to go do an interview. Any final thoughts on any big news stories?
Yeah, just
Tune me in.
What's that?
Tune me in tonight. You'll see.
Well, yes, but I mean, we covered so much ground today. You mentioned deadline. I mean, it's almost a quarter till 3. People still have time to register to vote if they haven't already. And then, another thing I want to mention too. Last week, this Huntsville Police Department and City Council did a joint press conference about the recent shootings that they've seen in the area. And it was with Councilmember Watkins and Chief Kirk Giles. And one of the things that they stressed was if you see something, say something. So especially, of course, out in the city, things are happening, but specifically as kids have returned to school and what we are seeing with Fort Payne, parents, if you see something, say something. Tell your children, if they see something, say something. Every little detail matters.
It does indeed.
It does indeed. So if be sure to watch Kenesha tonight at 5:30 and at 6 and at 9. If you miss that, you can watch online. You can get the Fox 54 Plus app for your Roku TV. And the Fox 54 app is a great thing to have. My favorite is the Morning Rush, where you can get national and world news, plus an update from Kenesha. You get the weather and sports, all in a neat little package right there in the morning. You can start your day off right and not have to wade through hours of your favorite anchors chit-chatting. You can get the news updates right away with the Fox 54 app. And, you can start your day with Kenesha and end your day with Kenesha. What could go wrong?
All right. Well, Kenesha, hey, we're going to let you go. Thank you for coming by on Monday. As always, lots of stuff going on, and we'll have even more to talk about next week.
Yeah, always a pleasure, gentlemen.
And we're both here, I think. We're not vacationing.
No, we'll be here.
Maybe I'll take the day off.
There you go. All right. We'll be back in a bit.
You're listening to The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN.
Take it right to the edge with Donato's Pizza. That's right, with Donato's, they don't waste any space. And if you're going to put 100 slices of pepperoni on a pizza, you need to go edge to edge. And that provolone cheese is smoked and aged in Wisconsin. All of Donato's produce comes from right here in the Tennessee Valley as well. And Donato's is more than just pizza. Check out the subs, calzones, and wings as well. 2 locations in the Valley to serve you, in Madison on Madison Boulevard and in Huntsville on the South Parkway. Donato's Pizza.
This is Bill Crawford, host of The Point on Talk Radio WZZN. I recently had a stem cell procedure on my right knee from Dr. Charles Lee of Regenesis. Stem cells are harvested from your body and re-administered back into your body. This approach is painless, quick, and requires no lengthy rehab. My knee feels better already. Regenesis is located at 4025 Pepperwood Circle Southwest, Suite C, Huntsville, Alabama. Call 256-715-8193 or Google their website for more information.
Welcome to Southern Wagyu Steakhouse and Meat Market in Huntsville. From hand-cut premium steaks and chef-crafted Southern favorites to phenomenal made-from-scratch desserts and restaurant-quality meats you can take home. Every meal is made with passion and served with genuine Southern hospitality. Join us for lunch or dinner. Attend a monthly 5-course supper club or stop by to stock up your grill. You'll see that we deliver excellence from prep to plate. Southern Wagyu Steakhouse and Meat Market, corner of Highway 72 East and Jordan Road. Come taste the difference.
Lynn Layton Automotive Group is a proud sponsor of high school sports in the Tennessee Valley. At Lynn Layton, we shoot you straight with no hidden doc fees just for doing your paperwork. These doc fees are often hidden in your purchase and can run as high as $700 or $800, but you won't see that at Lynn Layton. And Lynn Layton has all the major brands conveniently located in Decatur on and around the Beltline. Trust us, it's worth the short ride to get a great deal with Lynn Layton Automotive Group.
WASP Asset Software, delivered by our Next Level software team, helps you track every asset with ease, giving you total visibility over your tools, equipment, and IT assets from everywhere.
With WASP, our customers have reduced loss, improved accountability, and saved hours of tracking down what they own and where it is.
This is proven technology, and I urge you to ask about it.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. I know your accident is the real thing, and they happen to real people.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. There's a lot of talk right now about bigger, but when you've had a wreck, is bigger better?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. Do you want to be just a case number?
With offices in Huntsville and Scottsboro, we take the time to help.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Fall Saturdays in the South mean football. And when football season rolls, patio and grill season rolls right with it. Turn your patio into your favorite place to watch the game. From premium grills like Big Green Egg, Yoder, Blaze, and Napoleon to outdoor furniture built for Saturdays. Brooks & Collier has everything you need to make your patio the best seat in the house. Brooks & Collier, 80 years, 4 generations, the Valley's best in outdoor living. 813 Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
Your Fox 54 update.
I'm Fox 54 Weather Impact Meteorologist Emily Owen. Scattered showers and thunderstorms remain in the forecast for this Monday, mainly in the afternoon. Otherwise, we'll see mostly sunshine with high temperatures warming into the low 90s for the afternoon. Heading into Monday night, we'll continue to sit under a mostly clear sky. Low temperatures fall into the low 70s.
Your Fox 54 forecast, only on Talk Radio WZZN.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Talk Radio WZZN. This is The Point with Bill Crawford and producer Brian Temple. Glad to have you with us today. You are more than welcome to join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline if you'd like to give us a shout. 256-382-0724. We'd love to hear what you have to say about anything we've been talking about or about anything you want to talk about at all. For the next few minutes, I'm going to briefly cover these because I really don't have time to go into them in great detail. But, I call this the Groundhog Day War because it's kind of the same thing day in, day out. It's on, it's off, it's on, it's off. Well, there was a development that happened as of today that I thought was fairly significant that if you're not tracking, you probably ought to, because Iran has now said, hey, in order for us to end this thing, we have 5 demands that we are going to make. And they're demands, quite frankly, I don't think will ever be conceded to Iran. The first one was to end the blockade of Iran. Now, that's something that could occur, but again, that was their number one demand. The other one was for the U.S. to lift their economic sanctions against Iran. And this is not just ships going through the Strait of Hormuz. This is one where a lot of their economic sanctions regarding trade and many other things have been imposed, and they're saying, hey, either lift those sanctions or we're not going to end this thing. And one that's really not going to be easy to comply with is to release frozen Iranian assets. They have billions of dollars that are in other countries that have been frozen. They can't access. And the one I think that is going to be probably the biggest showstopper is a compensation for war damage, which they are saying, they being Iran, that they want compensation for the damage caused by the earlier Israeli and U.S. war attacks. They're not saying how much money they want, but they're saying, hey, whatever you did to us, you got to fix it, you got to pay us for it. And then, of course, they're also saying that they want a end to U.S. threats and attacks. So I guess there's a kind of three ways you could break these demands down if you want to. One is something that's possible, and that is lifting the blockade on the Iranian ports. Is something that could possibly be done. The other ones, which I would call negotiable but very, very difficult, are the sanctions release and the release of frozen Iranian assets. And the one that's going to be the toughest one of all, which is much more difficult, I don't even know if it is possible to be negotiated, and that is the U.S. paying Iran in compensation for war damage and accepting restrictions on future military actions against that country. So doesn't sound to me like we're anywhere close to a deal to end this war, or are we anywhere close to a deal to open the Strait of Hormuz? And, the Strait carries about 1/5 of the oil in the global supply, which just goes through the Strait of Hormuz. And it doesn't look like it's going to be opened anytime soon. So what are the chances of Washington accepting the Iranian proposal that came out today, if it's accepted exactly as it was presented? I would say it's, slim to none, and Slim just left town. So that makes me say, what is going to happen with this thing?
There were some people that were reading, I guess trying to read between the lines of El Presidente's post yesterday on Truth Social, that his plan is just to quit and declare victory.
Well, Brian, that's I was
just walk away from it no matter what, whether we win or not. He just says we won.
I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, actually yesterday, who's fairly knowledgeable in all this stuff, and we were going, God, how can this thing end? And he told me exactly the same thing. He said, one way is we go all in, which I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
And the other
We've been all in.
The other way is just to say, hey, it's over and we won.
Yeah.
And I guess that's going to be a possible option. But
as long as he takes his toys and go home.
Well, we'll see what happens, but that's what happened today, and we're going to go ahead and take a break and get out of here, let you cogitate over that, and we'll be back in a bit.
Give you a highlight of what's coming up next on the next hour of The Point with Bill Crawford.
You're listening to The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN.
Bill Crawford here for the Regenesis Stem Cell Center, the place to go for golfers' elbow pain. Traditional treatments require significant time away from the golf course and often don't work. Dr. Charles Lee can treat golfers' elbow using platelet-rich plasma extracted from the patient's blood and get you back on the golf course after a 2-hour visit. Golfers' elbow can be permanently eliminated for a fixed price of $585. Golf season is here. Enjoy pain-free golf with just one visit to Regenesis.
Take it right to the edge with Donato's Pizza. That's right, with Donato's, they don't waste any space. And if you're going to put 100 slices of pepperoni on a pizza, you need to go edge to edge. And that provolone cheese is smoked and aged in Wisconsin. All of Donato's produce comes from right here in the Tennessee Valley as well. And Donato's is more than just pizza. Check out the subs, calzones, and wings as well. 2 locations in the Valley to serve you, in Madison on Madison Boulevard and in Huntsville on the South Parkway. Donato's Pizza.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loaders from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best. And this machine has it all, with features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Thompson Tractor knows how much value you place on your customer satisfaction. It's how you build your business. It's also how we build ours. Since 1957, hardworking folks like you have counted on Thompson to provide the absolute best lineup of equipment in the industry, all backed by a customer service and product support team that time and again have proven to be second to none. It's all about maintaining peak performance. Always has been, always will be. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. I know your accident is the real thing, and they happen to real people.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. There's a lot of talk right now about bigger, but when you've had a wreck, is bigger better?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. Do you want to be just a case number?
With offices in Huntsville and Scottsboro, we take the time to help.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
TLG's Next Level software team tackles your automation bottlenecks, saving our customers precious time and money.
This resource is unique to Huntsville and Birmingham, and I urge you to ask about it.
From the largest to the smallest companies, TLG is here for you.
TLG is doing the right thing for all aspects of your company.
Just ask anyone.
Your home of the Rocket City Trash Pandas is Talk Radio WZZN.
He's still a soldier. His blood runs red, white, and blue.
Welcome back, everybody. This is The Point with Bill Crawford. We are glad to have you today, both Brian and myself. Maybe you get a chance to give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. And one thing I was thinking about is I was listening to the commercials in my headset as we talked about Donato's Pizza. Donato's Pizza is owned by Mr. Aaron Thomas, and Aaron's going to be with us in studio on Wednesday afternoon, as he is also a candidate for the State House of Representatives. Very smart guy. He's going to be here live, Brian. Just found that out.
Fantastic. Yeah, we talked about it last time about him bringing some pizza for us.
Well, you know what? I'll text him and see if he can make that happen.
I'm kind of serious. It's we won't turn him away, but if it could, that'd be really nice.
No, I'm going to say, hey, it's always nicer to talk about it if we have an example sitting in front of us.
Right.
And to me, it would be his pineapple pizza. That's awesome. So,
yeah, barbecue chicken's good too.
Barbecue, half and half.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
If he wants to bring two, that'd be fine.
That would be fine.
I don't want to be greedy.
We take them home. All right, folks. We'll be back in a bit. Hour number 2 of The Point. We're going to talk a little bit about 911 services, and we're going to have the head of Huntsville's 911 Center, Tyler March, will be here with us. This is The Point. We'll be back in a bit.
This is Talk Radio WZZN.
Lynn Layton Automotive Group is a proud sponsor of high school sports in the Tennessee Valley. At Lynn Layton, we shoot you straight with no hidden dock fees just for doing your paperwork. These dock fees are often hidden in your purchase and can run as high as $700 or $800, but you won't see that at Lynn Layton. And Lynn Layton has all the major brands conveniently located in Decatur on and around the Beltline. Trust us, it's worth the short ride to get a great deal with Lynn Layton Automotive Group.
Favorite jeans, favorite shirt. I can make a sausage and I'm firing it up. Yeah, everybody knows that's how I get my grill on. You can smell that flavor up and down the road. It's a little taste of heaven, and everybody knows that's how I get my grill on. Kanaka sausage. It's just a little taste of heaven.
HD 97.7.2, WZZN FM, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. Talk Radio, WZZN.
Lee, and this is the Fox Business Report. A choppy trading session with stocks mostly lower in afternoon trading as investors monitor U.S.-Iran developments and await consumer price inflation data that will be released on Wednesday morning. The information will likely help determine the Fed's path for interest rates. Oil prices are spiking with West Texas Intermediate crude rising above $80 a barrel, its highest level since late July. Energy and healthcare are the best performing sectors while tech is lagging. Shares of Apple are down more than 2% following a downgrade from Jefferies. An analyst with the firm believes that the new iPhone design will not materialize anytime soon. In addition, Apple is said to be testing memory chips from China's CXMT and is considering using them in some devices sold in China. But Apple will need approval from the White House. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You've got a life to live. Your investment should help you live it. That's why more Americans are choosing gold. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
This is Talk Radio, WZZN.
1819 News.
An extension has now been passed by the U.S. Senate when it comes to a deadline for hemp producers. The deadline has been moved from November 12th to December 11th of this year. In 2025, Congress redefined the hemp industry and prohibited hemp-derived THC products. Hemp companies were given a year to comply with that legislation. That one-month extension was passed by the Senate. However, U.S. Senator Katie Britt voted against it. She says the extension only continues a loophole that allows for unregulated intoxicating THC products to be pushed upon minors. Britt supported an amendment that would not have offered such an extension. However, Democrats in the Senate tabled that amendment. Britt says the fight is not over in keeping those dangerous products out of the hands of the next generation. This continuing resolution and funding that extends the loophole will now head over to the U.S. House for consideration. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Brian Dawson here, CEO of 1819 News. I'm also the host of 1819 News, the podcast, and we'd love for you to join us by listening to our weekly show on all the top podcast apps, both in audio and video format. At 1819 News, the podcast, we are in pursuit of a free and flourishing Alabama. Every week, we're having important conversations with guests from across this great state, all with the goal of equipping Alabamians to be in pursuit of a free and flourishing Alabama with us. New episodes are released weekly. I hope you'll join us.
An Albertville police officer has been terminated from his job after he was discovered to be using law enforcement databases to track his ex-wife's activities. Jeremy Hanna was arrested after the Marshall County District Attorney conducted an independent investigation. Hanna is accused of accessing multiple law enforcement databases in order to look up information on his ex-wife and her family members. He's being charged with violating the Alabama Digital Crimes Act. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This is Talk Radio, WZZN.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. I know your accident is the real thing. and they happen to real people.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. There's a lot of talk right now about bigger, but when you've had a wreck, is bigger better?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. Do you want to be just a case number?
With offices in Huntsville and Scottsboro, we take the time to help.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Tom Abraham here for my good friend Bobby White at Lynn Leighton Ford, where you never find some mysterious doc fee that can be like $600, $700, or $800. A doc fee is an add-on that some dealers will charge just to do the paperwork on your deal. Now, Wes and I just bought F-150s at Lynn Leighton, and we're amazed at the ease of getting the deal done. Transparency is important in buying these days, and that's what you get at Lynn Leighton Ford in Decatur. Lynn Leighton offers an extensive new and pre-owned inventory, as well as lease specials, finance options, and expert auto service. They are dedicated to providing exceptional customer service and are an integral part of our community. Believe me, it is worth the short ride over to Decatur to see what Lynn Leighton Ford has to offer, just a mile west of the Beltline on 6th. At Lynn Leighton, there are no mystery fees, just great prices. It's the Lynn Leighton way. We made the move, and so should you, to Lynn Leighton Ford.
Your Fox 54 update.
I'm Fox 54 weather impact meteorologist Emily Owen. Scattered showers and thunderstorms remain in the forecast for this Monday, mainly in the afternoon. Otherwise, we'll see mostly sunshine with high temperatures warming into the low 90s for the afternoon. Heading into Monday night, we'll continue to sit under a mostly clear sky. Low temperatures fall into the low 70s.
Your Fox 54 forecast, only on Talk Radio WZZN.
This is The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WCCN. A compassionate, conservative, reasoned voice. Not just for today's headlines, but for issues that matter to you. Perspective from a distinguished career of service in the U.S. Army. Courage from hours in the pilot seat of a military helicopter in war and in peace. Knowledge of cultures from around the world. Experience from a lifetime of service to America. What matters to you, from the dinner table to the halls of power. Conservative, compassionate, reason. That's The Point.
Welcome back, everybody. Yes, this is The Point on Talk Radio WZZN with Bill Crawford, and that's me, Bill Crawford, along with producer extraordinaire Brian Temple. Glad to have Brian alongside today, and we're glad you're giving us a little bit of your Monday afternoon to listen, cogitate, and think about the things we're saying. And now I'm going to ask you a question. If there's something wrong in your neighborhood, who are you going to call? Ghostbusters? I think that's what the movie said in 1984. But, yep. But let me ask you this, Brian. I'm sure this was the case when you were growing up.
Right.
When I was growing up, by our phone in our little family house,
right,
there was a little card there, and it had fire, hospital, police. All that stuff was listed there.
Yes.
And you had to know all those numbers, and you had to call those if you had an emergency or something that needed attention.
Right.
Well, guess what? That's how it was a while ago, and I think that the modern generation, I know my kids, and pretty much all of us now, we just know about 911. And 911, that's the number you call if you have an emergency of any kind.
Now, quick trivia question. First city to be served by 911.
Guess what? I am about to get into that because it was Haleyville.
Haleyville, Alabama.
Haleyville.
In the free state of Winston. They were the first ones. And a little trivia, my dad helped start and maintain Calhoun County 911 when I was growing up in Anniston.
Yeah, well, that's you.
The 911 director, Larry Amerson, who would later become Calhoun County Sheriff for a long time, was the first director of Calhoun County 911, and it was a big change, improvement for safety.
You got me all choked up there.
Oh my!
I swallowed a little bit of that pear I was having as a snack, but. Yep. Again, Brian, you're absolutely right. And before 911, you had to have that little list with all those phone numbers. And in 1967, President Lyndon Johnson had a commission on law enforcement and said, hey, we need to have one number that people call instead of having to memorize or write down all of these numbers. And in 1968, AT&T introduced 911 and said that will be the emergency number. And Brian is absolutely 100% right, without notes, by the way. I had to have notes to find this out. But the first 911 call was February 16th, 1968, and House Speaker Rankin Fight made the call from the Haleyville City Hall, and Congressman Tom Bevel answered the call at the local police station. And so that's when 911 started, but it did not happen overnight. Like
you pick up some trivia when one of your best friends is from Haleyville.
Hey, that's a good claim to fame for Haleyville. But 911 has by the way, the reason I'm talking about this is because our guest in just a few minutes is going to be Tyler March, who is the head of Huntsville's state-of-the-art 911 center. A lot of people now have enhanced 911, and what happens on 911 when you place a call, you just don't get an operator. You get somebody who is a trained specialist, and they're trained to handle a lot of things. They can provide life-saving instructions. They can tell you how to do CPR. They can tell you what to do if somebody is choking. And oftentimes that operator will stay on the phone with you until help can arrive. Go ahead.
Yeah, my daughter tried out. They had an open position at Madison County 911. And just the screening process is brutal. Because these people have to be prepared to help people through any number of emergencies. And it is very strenuous. You have to know so many things. And unfortunately, she didn't make the cut. It's just there were more candidates, very well qualified candidates, than there were positions open.
And by the way, there are 200 plus people who are in our 911 center. On a little bit of a sidebar, if you're interested in seeing a good depiction of that in a movie, there's a Halle Berry movie that came out in 2013 called The Call, which really depicts accurately what goes on in 911 situations and systems throughout the country. So like Brian was saying, a 911 operator is not just answering the phone. They have to answer the phone, and they have to be able to deal with whatever situation is on the line on the other end. And I think we just had, is that Tyler?
They have to do that all while coordinating with emergency services to get them the right services where they need to be.
Absolutely. And this is 911 is a good thing. It's a good thing we have it in this country. People take it for granted. They don't often think about the value that service provides. But we're going to get a little insight about that in just a bit when Mr. Tyler March checks in with us.
As a matter of fact, he is on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline right now. So I'm going to suggest we take a break real quick, and we'll come back and talk about Madison County 911.
There you go. We'll be back in a bit with Tyler March, Madison County 911.
You're listening to The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN.
Take it right to the edge with Donato's Pizza. That's right, with Donato's, they don't waste any space. And if you're going to put 100 slices of pepperoni on a pizza, you need to go edge to edge. And that provolone cheese is smoked and aged in Wisconsin. All of Donato's produce comes from right here in the Tennessee Valley as well. And Donato's is more than just pizza. Check out the subs, calzones, and wings as well. 2 locations in the Valley to serve you, in Madison on Madison Boulevard and in Huntsville on the South Parkway. Donato's Pizza.
This is Bill Crawford, host of The Point on Talk Radio WZZN. I recently had a stem cell procedure on my right knee from Dr. Charles Lee of Regenesis. Stem cells are harvested from your body and re-administered back into your body. This approach is painless, quick, and requires no lengthy rehab. My knee feels better already. Regenesis is located at 4025 Pepperwood Circle Southwest, Suite C, Huntsville, Alabama. Call 256-715-8193 or Google their website for more information.
Welcome to Southern Wagyu Steakhouse and Meat Market in Huntsville. From hand-cut premium steaks and chef-crafted Southern favorites to phenomenal made-from-scratch desserts and restaurant-quality meats you can take home. Every meal is made with passion and served with genuine Southern hospitality. Join us for lunch or dinner. Attend a monthly 5-course supper club or stop by to stock up your grill. You'll see that we deliver excellence from prep to plate. Southern Wagyu Steakhouse and Meat Market, corner of Highway 72 East and Jordan Road. Come taste the difference.
Tom Abraham here for my longtime friend Mike Owen of Owen Home Appliance. You know, Mike has over 25 years experience in the appliance industry, and since 2017, Owen Home Appliance has served customers in the Tennessee Valley with a focus on quality products, affordable prices, and excellent customer service. Owen Home Appliance prides themselves on community involvement as well, sponsoring local teams and events while making sure that you get the right appliance at the right price. Visit their highly interactive showroom in Lacey Springs, just 8 miles south of the river on 231.
The Orthopedic Center. It's in the name. TOC, the premier choice for all your orthopedic needs. With over 40 physicians and 20 centers of excellence, TOC is the name to trust for complete, expert orthopedic care. And that word center, we mean it. With more than a dozen locations across North Alabama and the Tennessee Valley, TOC is in your community whenever you need us. As the state's largest orthopedic practice, TOC is built on trust. Trust we've earned with every patient we serve. You can see that trust on the field, too. As the official sports medicine provider for the Huntsville Havoc, Huntsville City Football Club, Oakwood and Alabama A&M universities, thousands of athletes and coaches count on TOC to keep them in the game. From student athletes to unexpected injuries, our urgent ortho clinics offer prompt, expert care, no appointment necessary. So remember, when it comes to your health and mobility, trust the name that says it all. TOC, helping you live a better life.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Your home of the Rocket City Trash Pandas is Talk Radio WZZN.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Talk Radio WZZN, and this is The Point with me, Bill Crawford, and also producer Brian Temple. And now we are joined on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline by the Executive Director of Huntsville-Madison County 911, Mr. Tyler March. Tyler, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am doing great. Let me just take a moment to introduce you to our listening audience. And Tyler is a public safety professional with 30 years of experience in just about everything related to this: emergency medical services, fire services, 911 communications. He's been an emergency medical technician, a firefighter, a 911 dispatcher, and worked through all these positions before he eventually retired as the emergency communications director for the South Metro Fire Rescue in Colorado. And he's now, as I had mentioned, he's the executive director of Huntsville-Madison County 911, where he oversees all aspects of this entity. And I think they have 200 plus employees, and it's probably one of the most state-of-the-art emergency communications, not only certainly in Alabama, but also in the country. Tyler, what did I leave out, if anything?
Well, we're a unique emergency communications district, so we actually have 8 agencies that co-locate under one roof. And so anywhere from call taking to police to medical and fire is all done within our building. So we co-locate with these other agencies as well, and my role here is to ensure that they have the tools needed to be able to effectively do their job when someone calls for help.
Well, let me ask you this, just a little personal question. How did, what got you, what was the push, I guess, if you will, that gave you to come from Colorado to lovely Huntsville, Alabama?
Yeah, so my wife and I were, long-term when I retired was we were looking between Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. This position in Huntsville popped up, and I jokingly mentioned it to my wife, and she knew all about Huntsville, surprisingly, and so she was super excited and went through the process, and luckily the opportunity presented itself before I'm ready to retire, so we were able to move early.
Well, now, when you do something such as that, you come from another state to here. I got to ask you a question because if you hadn't made you probably know what I'm going to ask you, but which side of the pigskin do you come down on here, Alabama or Auburn?
So my wife has claimed Alabama as hers. My son is a diehard Tennessee fan, so he is just absolutely beside himself when she wears her Alabama stuff. But he's a Tennessee fan. I've been told that I shouldn't come out and say which way, way or the other. I like them all.
Well, I tell you what, you're not in politics, but that certainly is a politically correct answer without a doubt. So one thing I was curious about your bio, for somebody to be in this profession that you're in, is there a certain sort of educational background that you really can have or may have to jump into this business, or is it just something that you go through and do everything like you did and suddenly you're qualified to be the man?
Yeah, a lot of it is homegrown folks that have just been in the industry since the beginning. They typically start out as some form of a call taker or dispatcher, and they learn the technology and how 911 works. Obviously, there's classes and certifications and all of those good things that go with it. But a lot of the folks that are in the industry, they start out as the person answering the call, and they work their way through the ranks and eventually get to the spot that I'm in. I actually was in EMT school. My instructor's wife was a supervisor within a dispatch center, and so I actually said, oh, that sounds like a cool job to do while I'm in school. So I started doing that. And ended up really enjoying it. And so I was able to continue to do that while I worked in the field as well. And again, just, working through the ranks, learning the industry over the years and how it's progressively changed and just better understanding how it works. That's really the succession plan. A lot of colleges have started to do programs that will give you at least a good foundation to start off with. But it's not deemed as a formal pursuit of education.
Well, that to me almost seems like one of those professions that you can get into, that you have to have the on-the-job training. I don't think you could get that in a classroom. So that's a good thing. It seems like you've certainly got the experience to do what is needed in Huntsville. But just out of curiosity, just in general, what kind of skill sets does a person need to succeed as a 911 dispatcher?
Yeah, I think probably the biggest thing is they need to be empathetic, and they also need to be able to multitask. There's a ton of different things that happen all at once, and so being able to listen to stressful information come in, be able to type at the same time, process, potentially assign units to those specific incidents while still talking to the individual on the call. Being able to manage all those different things is key to being successful. We oftentimes, especially with the newer generation in video games or gaming, a lot of these folks stare at screens and they play these video games with multiple screens, and they're doing multiple things. They're, live streaming and playing a game and talking. And those individuals that are really, really good at that typically make really good dispatchers, because they're able to multitask, have distractions happen, and still be able to remain on task and be able to do the things that they were focused on doing. So those are really some of the critical things. And then just understanding, you're talking to folks on their worst day. And a lot of times it's the first time that they've ever experienced the system or have had to call 911. And so understanding the other side of it and what those folks are going through and really helping them through that so that they understand that, we're there to help them, though sometimes we have to ask specific questions. That's not slowing down the response. It's just providing additional information for the responders.
Well, now, I know that, from some of the research I did prior to our discussion, is that a 911 dispatch operator may have to talk someone who's dealing with somebody who's choking, or somebody who's having a heart attack, or somebody who has been burned in some kind of an accident at the house, or whatever the case may be. So do the dispatch operators take training in how to deal with those situations? Because I would have to think that's not something that you want to do just on the job the first time it happens.
Yeah, so most training programs are pretty extensive. Ours is pretty extensive as well. There are formal training programs that actually talk through what questions to ask depending on the type of scenario. Our center is accredited in both emergency medical dispatch as well as emergency police dispatch. So depending on the scenario and what information's coming in, they have structured information that they're supposed to ask depending on what's going on. And then all of those calls are QA/QI'd or quality assured to make sure that we're following the protocol correctly. And then from those answers that we're getting, that's determining what type of response goes to those specific incidents. So yes, very much so. A lot of people can be given medications, CPR instructions, choking instructions, you name it. They could be providing those to those folks.
Well, let me ask a personal question. I'm an old helicopter pilot. I have war stories. I'm sure that that you probably have some too. What's probably your most memorable, I guess would be a good way to say that, your most memorable personal 911 dispatch experience?
Yeah, on the phone, a couple come to mind. One that probably stands out the most, and I think it was probably one of the first ones I ever took, was I had a elderly mother that was caring for her adult son. He had a medical issue and actually ended up he stopped breathing, and he was in a recliner. And so he was larger than her, and so being able to get him to the ground and start those instructions was challenging. So that definitely stuck with me as one of the very first calls earlier on in my career that I had dealt with. And then, in Colorado, a lot of people are familiar with all of the school shootings that we typically have. Don't really understand why it seems to be isolated or happen more often in Colorado. But most recent one was the STEM call. And that was not too long ago. That was, I believe, 2019, 2020, or 2019-ish. and really dealing with those folks that are, they're locked down in an office hiding with people that are hurt, their friends that are hurt, and not being able to get them help as fast as we typically do, just because of all of the different protocols that go into that. So managing all of those things, as well as reassuring that helps on the way, that those types of calls typically stick with you as well.
Well, we were actually talking a little bit about this with my first guest on the show, but if I was calling you and I said, hey, I think I've got an active shooter on my premise, I can hear the gunshots, he's just down the hall, aren't there some specific actions that you're supposed to tell people to take, like not try to attack the guy or whatever the case may be?
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that. What happens when you are advising someone who is in an active shooter scenario?
Yeah, a lot of times what we're asking them is if any information that they have is helpful. But from a safety perspective, if they feel like it's safe to run, we always encourage that first. But if you don't feel like you're in a situation where you can successfully do that, then it's you're hunkering down, hiding, being quiet, trying to protect yourself, put barriers between yourself and the potential shooter, things of that nature. So a lot of times, most recently, like I said, with the STEM school, we had people that were locked in offices, that were locked in closets, just hidden in classrooms. And then we also had a lot of folks that ran, and when they ran to neighboring homes around the school. And so having potential victims at those locations as well. So it's more than just the school is your location of the incident. It's really could be up to a mile radius around the school with the potential of the folks fleeing. So really understanding and getting a grasp on that information and where those folks are at. But a lot of times is if you think you can get away safely, we obviously encourage that. If not, then we try to, help you walk through where you can potentially hunker down until someone's able to get to you.
Oh, thank you. That was great information. Another thing I wonder this, I was an Army officer out on the Arsenal, government employee, and I'm just curious how our 911 center, how or if it interacts with emergency services out on the Arsenal.
Yeah, so the way that the calls are routed is we do have connectivity between the two. We can talk to each other. HEMSI is the ambulance service out there, so they have radio channels with the folks out there as well. But when you're on the Arsenal, it's actually set up that it's a virtual geofence. So when you call 911 on the Arsenal grounds, it's actually going to be routed through their dispatch center,
okay,
so that they have the information. If it's off of the Arsenal, then, or right on the border of the Arsenal, then we might get it or they might get it. But typically incidents on the Arsenal are handled by that group of folks.
So if I'm on the Arsenal driving around and I see a wreck and I call 911, somehow the system knows to direct that exactly to the Arsenal.
Yep, your cellular location is geofenced within the Arsenal perimeter, and so it automatically will route to the Arsenal's 911 center. Yep.
I didn't know that. Learn something new every day. Well, tell us a little bit about our 911 center. I know, first of all, how many people work there? It seems like it's pretty big.
It is. So we have, like I said, eight agencies. Anywhere from city police to county sheriffs to city fire, county fires, as well as HEMSI. HEMSI is obviously the ambulance provider throughout the metro area. And then we also employ call takers. And so they're the initial line when you call in. They pick up the phone, they identify what the problem is. Depending on what's going on, they either continue to ask additional questions or they transfer it to the respective agencies. So having the ability to have all these folks under one roof really helps when you have these larger incidents where you're calling in, out of jurisdictional units. Rather than making phone calls or calling them on the radio, dispatchers have the ability to either send messages through their CAD system, which is a computer system, which is the same throughout the entire room. They can stand up and talk to the individuals because they're relatively close to them. It just really creates that that communication link that you miss out on when all of these different agencies sit in a different building at different locations. It causes a lot of confusion in those efforts, and it brings them all together under one roof to really be able to facilitate these significant incidents.
Now, I know you guys, obviously, you're 24/7, 365. How many people of those various and sundry agencies are actually on duty at one time? Like, I guess, what do you do, 3 shifts?
Oh, gosh. Yeah. So the call takers specifically belong to us. And then, like I said, we are co-located with 8 other agencies. We have a total of 51 positions in our building. So 51 workstations that you could potentially have people at. So that's potentially what you could have on at any given time. Obviously, depending on times of day and things like that, you may have a decrease, or that may fluctuate depending on call volume. But we have 51 positions that is sufficient to be able to handle the call volume that we have coming in.
Well, now, when you say you have 51 positions, and are y'all fully staffed now? Or are you short? How does that go?
So our agent specifically, we are close. We are, I believe, 2 dispatchers short from being fully staffed. So we are getting close, which is a big achievement. Post-COVID, a lot of people don't like to do shift work. Obviously, we're asking these folks to come in, work nights, weekends, holidays, 365. We're open. And so, when COVID happened and a lot of people could work from home and make a lot of money and not have to go to work every day, that definitely made it challenging to find folks that wanted to continue to do this, because it does take a certain individual that wants to be able to do this and be effective at it. But we've been pretty fortunate recently with our recruitment. Our recruitment manager has done an excellent job recently. She's really put forth the effort to get us to where we need to be, and we're almost to where we need to be, and we should be there in the next month or so.
Well, I have to ask a question, and this is from a position of ignorance because I've never heard of this before. But on some of the information you sent me, it said that we have Alabama's first IP-based P25 radio system. What is that?
Yeah, so that is actually so we were the first to create the digital repeated. So when we say P25, it's a repeated digital trunked radio system. So this actually happened several years ago. This isn't something new that we've done, but Huntsville, prior to me being here, the previous director, Ernie Blair, did an awesome job with setting up the basically the foundation of what radio systems should be throughout the state. And from that foundation, a lot of surrounding areas within Alabama have gone to similar products, which has allowed us to be able to interact with those different agencies across the state. So because it's a digital repeated system, it goes up to a tower, hits a repeater, and then repeats back down. So as long as you've got enough coverage throughout the towers, you can connect different systems, which creates a system of systems, if that makes sense.
It does. I understand systems of systems. I'm an old systems engineer out in the government, but
yeah.
But how does our center stack up against like the other big cities, Birmingham, Mobile, Montgomery?
We're definitely. I think, I don't want to say
go ahead and brag
about any one agency, but I definitely think we do a really good job of trying to put technology and taking care of our people at the forefront. There's a ton of things changing in the industry when it comes to technology. AI is a huge thing that's coming into our world with translation, automatic translation and transcription, which is a game changer for processing calls when people don't speak English. So I feel like we're definitely trying to be the trendsetter and making sure that we're advancing as the industry advances, as well as making sure that we're taking care of our folks, because without our folks, we can't do the job. So we have to make sure that we're taking care of the people that are answering the phone every day, getting them the support, the tools to be successful. is really key.
Well, on an average, if you have that information, what's a typical day like in Huntsville for 911 calls? How many do we get in a day?
Yeah, it's funny you asked. The last conversation I had with our operations manager, we could have up to 600 calls in a day. It really depends on kind of what's going on with school starting. Believe it or not, it slows down a little bit because people are in school during the day. But when you have these afternoon rain showers or thunderstorms kick up, that obviously causes an influx in call volume, as well as just any kind of bigger event that takes place. So we're doing anywhere from, I would say, 500 to 600 calls a day.
And of those calls, and I don't want to say this to denigrate anybody, but how many of them are not legit? How many of them are the cats in the tree?
There are quite a few that could be handled through a non-emergent line. We do take calls, yes, of people asking questions, complaining about their neighbors for, watering their lawn when they shouldn't have, things of that type of nature. But that's what we're here for. We provide a service, and through those calls we can educate them on maybe better avenues to report those. We don't ever want to discourage people from calling. If they feel like they need help, we want them to call, and we can always work through that with them. But we never want to discourage anyone if they feel like they potentially need help from calling.
And one of my final questions is, what happens to a person if they just decide to, like I saw on the news the other day, make a crank 911 call? Is that a felony, misdemeanor, nothing? What's the penalty for that?
Yeah, to be honest with you, for Alabama, I'm not totally familiar on what that rule would be. I know in my previous agency in Colorado, they were working through legislatively to create that to be I believe, a misdemeanor, so that the abuse of 911 can't be done. And we definitely don't want that happening. What people need to think about if they feel like they want to make a prank call or something like that, they're taking dedicated resources away from folks that potentially really need help in a true emergency. So from that perspective, that's the message that I would give to those folks. If they're thinking about doing something like that, we're going to call you back and we're going to follow up. Someone probably will end up knocking on your door to make sure everything's okay. But also remember, by us doing all of those things, you're taking resources from potentially folks that truly need the help. So,
hey, I couldn't have asked for a better answer to that question, and hopefully folks won't do that. Well, Tyler, thank you so much for spending a little time with us today. This is an area that I thought needed covered, because it's a great service that exists not only in Huntsville but in this country, and a lot of people just take it for granted, but they shouldn't. So, thank you for doing a good job.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and thank you for bringing attention to this, because I agree with you. Oftentimes people they see the firefighters and the police officers out on the streets. They don't see the folks that are taking the initial call and making sure that the help's getting there. And so we need to make sure that we're taking care of those people and recognizing them for the job that they do, because it is just as important as the folks out on the streets.
All right. Well, hey, great talking to you, Tyler. We're going to let you go. Brian, let's take a break. And that's Tyler March with our 911 Center, the executive director here in Huntsville. Back in a bit.
You're listening to The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN.
Bill Crawford here for the Regenesis Stem Cell Center, the place to go for golfers' elbow pain. Traditional treatments require significant time away from the golf course and often don't work. Dr. Charles Lee can treat golfers' elbow using platelet-rich plasma extracted from the patient's blood and get you back on the golf course after a 2-hour visit. Golfers' elbow can be permanently eliminated for a fixed price of $585. Golf season is here. Enjoy pain-free golf with just one visit to Regenesis.
Take it right to the edge with Donato's Pizza. That's right, with Donato's, they don't waste any space. And if you're going to put 100 slices of pepperoni on a pizza, you need to go edge to edge. And that provolone cheese is smoked and aged in Wisconsin. All of Donato's produce comes from right here in the Tennessee Valley as well. And Donato's is more than just pizza. Check out the subs, calzones, and wings as well. 2 locations in the Valley to serve you, in Madison on Madison Boulevard and in Huntsville on the South Parkway. Donato's Pizza. Tom Abraham here for my longtime friend Mike Owen of Owen Home Appliance. You know, Mike has over 25 years experience in the appliance industry, and since 2017, Owen Home Appliance has served customers in the Tennessee Valley with a focus on quality products, affordable prices, and excellent customer service. Owen Home Appliance prides themselves on community involvement as well, sponsoring local teams and events while making sure that you get the right appliance at the right price. Visit their highly interactive showroom in Lacey Springs, just 8 miles south of the river on 231.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Hey folks, Arthur Seed, managing partner at University Kia, letting you know we are proud supporters of Alabama and Auburn football. Swing by University Kia today and check out our huge selections of brand new Kias, including the spacious Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the slick new K5, the sporty Kia Seltos. We've got perfect cars for every lifestyle and budget. Visit universitykia.com to view all our amazing offers and get pre-approved amenities, because we want to see you in a Kia. Roll Tide, War Eagle.
Your Fox 54 update.
I'm Fox 54 Weather Impact Meteorologist Emily Owen. A quiet and warm night is ahead of us across the Tennessee Valley for this Monday night. Low temperatures will be falling into the low 70s for the overnight. Heading into our Tuesday, another warm afternoon is in store with high temperatures warming once again into the low 90s. A few showers and thunderstorms will be possible heading into the afternoon.
Your Fox 54 forecast, only on Talk Radio WZZN.
Welcome back, everybody. This is The Point with Bill Crawford and producer Brian Temple, who, as always, is on the ball and on top of everything. What'd you find out, Brian?
Well, in case you want to know, calling, let's see how it's worded. Prank calling 911, falsely reporting an emergency, making a phony complaint, or misusing it as a Class C felony if a law enforcement or emergency public safety response is provided. It's a Class C felony. That means 1 to 10 years in prison and also all sorts of fines. So don't call them if you don't need them.
No, and hopefully nobody would do that, but I'm actually kind of pleased to hear that there are some repercussions to doing that. And
yeah, nationwide it kind of varies, but Alabama's made it a Class C felony.
Well, you know, that's not something people should do at all.
And you don't get a whole lot of street cred in prison if you prank called 911.
No, well, I wouldn't know that, but I assumed
I wouldn't either. But it doesn't strike me that you would have a whole lot of street cred. What'd you do? I killed a guy. What did you do? I called 911.
I called 911 and asked them if they had Prince. That was an old joke when I was growing up. We would call the grocery store and
Do you
say,
have Prince Albert in a can?
do you have Prince Albert in a can? You better let him out. Or the other is we would call people and say, is your refrigerator running?
Well, then you better go catch it.
You better go catch it. So, but I wouldn't catch it today because today is National Lazy Day. And also
I'm overqualified.
I am way overqualified. I could give you the phone number of somebody very close to me who said I'd probably say I ought to be the poster boy for National Lazy Day.
You know, I would go pro, but it's too much work.
Too much work, yeah. We're apathetic, but we don't care. And also today is a holiday that you and I probably do every day because today is National Spoil Your Dog Day.
I referenced the earlier story from last hour about the umbrella.
Yeah.
I had to hold the umbrella so my dog would go out and go pee in the yard.
Well,
to keep her from being the sun shining on her too hard.
Hey, that's it. National Spoil Your Dog Day. Another thing that today is I'm going to tell you a little bit of history that I thought was kind of interesting about three guys who played a very big role in the formation of this country. And those three guys were Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, and Thomas Jefferson. What happened was on this day in 1776, they were tasked, if you will, to create a slogan for the United States of America. And what they came up with is a slogan that is still displayed on our currency, which I bet a lot of people have no idea what it really means. And that is E pluribus unum. You want to take a crack at that, Brian?
Together we are one.
That is so close that if I was grading your paper, I would say you passed.
Okay.
It's out of many one. So
okay.
That's close enough for me. And that was decided, actually, it wasn't approved until quite a few years later in 1782. And some of the other things I thought were interesting that were proposed to go on the national seal. Benjamin Franklin proposed a scene of Moses confronting Pharaoh with the motto, "Rebellion to tyrants is obedience to God." And Thomas Jefferson wanted an image for our great seal that depicted the children of Israel being guided through the wilderness. A couple of other interesting phrases that were proposed. Deo faviente, that's my Latin for you, with God favoring, or with God's favor, another way to translate that. And it was Deo faviente perennius, which is with God's favor enduring. And I think in 1956, the actual new motto of the country was established and approved by Congress, and that is, "In God We Trust." And that's been our motto for quite some time. But good old E pluribus unum is, you can pull out a dollar bill, and if you don't believe me, just look on the back of the dollar.
Some of my favorites. Now, it's not necessarily real Latin, but quando omni fluncus moritati. When all else fails, play dead.
Well, you know, Miss Fern Beeler taught me Latin when I was a freshman in high school, and we never really crossed that phrase somehow.
My other is actually from the Addams family. Sic gorgiamus allo subjectitus nunc.
And that means?
We gladly feast on those who would subdue us.
Well, I guess that's our Latin lesson for the day. And, of course, the most famous Latin phrase, veni, vidi, vici, I came, I saw, I conquered. And then there's also cogito ergo sum, which was Rene Descartes, I think, therefore I am. So
there you go.
Hey, if you take Latin, you learn a lot of stuff that's completely useless, and actually sometimes it comes into play in a Trivial Pursuit game, but that's about it. So,
Et tu, Brutus?
Et tu, Bruti, I think. I don't know, something Brutus, Bruti, that's when Julius Caesar was about to be killed by Brutus, I think.
Yeah, where he accidentally fell on a knife 70 times.
Yeah. All right, well, let's fall on our knife and take a break and get out of here and come back. And
nice wrap up. We'll give you a taste of what's coming up for tomorrow on The Point with Bill Crawford.
You're listening to The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN.
Take it right to the edge with Donato's Pizza. That's right, with Donato's, they don't waste any space. And if you're going to put 100 slices of pepperoni on a pizza, you need to go edge to edge. And that provolone cheese is smoked and aged in Wisconsin. All of Donato's produce comes from right here in the Tennessee Valley as well. And Donato's is more than just pizza. Check out the subs, calzones, and wings as well. 2 locations in the Valley to serve you, in Madison on Madison Boulevard and in Huntsville on the South Parkway. Donato's Pizza.
This is Bill Crawford, host of The Point on Talk Radio WZZN. I've recently had a stem cell procedure on my right knee from Dr. Charles Lee of Regenesis. Stem cells are harvested from your body and re-administered back into your body. This approach is painless, quick, and requires no lengthy rehab. My knee feels better already. Regenesis is located at 4025 Pepperwood Circle Southwest, Suite C, Huntsville, Alabama. Call 256-715-8193 or Google their website for more information.
Looking for your next great round of golf? Take the short drive from the Tennessee Valley to the Bear Trace at Tim's Ford in Winchester. This spectacular Jack Nicklaus-designed 18-hole course sits along scenic Tim's Ford Lake, featuring rolling fairways, challenging greens, and lake views that'll make the trip well worth it. Whether you're planning a weekly foursome, a company outing, or just sneaking in around, Bear Trace offers one of the best public golf experiences in the region. Book your tee time today at dnstateparks.com and play the Bear Trace at Tim's Ford.
This is Jen with The Haven, a private event space located downtown Huntsville. If you haven't been before, this is the perfect spot for your event. Whether it's Christmas, the holidays, birthdays, weddings, rehearsal dinners, you name it, I can provide that perfect event for you. We tailor everything just for your needs, from food to flowers to the band to drinks. You name it, we've got it. The Haven, located at Meridian Crossings, downtown Huntsville.
You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loaders from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best. And this machine has it all, with features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Thompson Tractor knows how much value you place on your customer satisfaction. It's how you build your business. It's also how we build ours. Since 1957, hardworking folks like you have counted on Thompson to provide the absolute best lineup of equipment in the industry, all backed by a customer service and product support team that time and again have proven to be second to none. It's all about maintaining peak performance. Always has been, always will be. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
Welcome to Southern Wagyu Steakhouse and Meat Market in Huntsville. From hand-cut premium steaks and chef-crafted Southern favorites to phenomenal made-from-scratch desserts and restaurant-quality meats you can take home. Every meal is made with passion and served with genuine Southern hospitality. Join us for lunch or dinner. Attend a monthly 5-course supper club or stop by to stock up your grill. You'll see that we deliver excellence from prep to plate. Southern Wagyu Steakhouse and Meat Market, corner of Highway 72 East and Jordan Road. Come taste the difference.
At the Huntsville Sports Commission, we do sports. The Rocket City is your destination for world-class sports in North Alabama. The Huntsville Sports Commission brings elite tournaments, championships, and other exciting athletic events to our city. From youth leagues to national championships, we're driving tourism, boosting local business, and building a stronger, more active community. When you team up with us, we'll worry about the details so you don't have to. We do sports.
Your home of the Rocket City Trash Pandas is Talk Radio WZZN.
And I'm still hoping, waiting, praying I did not die in vain.
Welcome back, everybody. We're wrapping up this today's edition of The Point with Bill Crawford and Brian Temple. Thank you for opting to spend a little bit of your day with us today, just to hear what we have to say and what our guests have to say. Tomorrow, we're going to have a couple of real interesting participants in the show. One is going to be Mr. Larry Durham, who is one of the founding fathers of the North Alabama Home Building Academy, which is a place where if you want to pursue a career within the construction industry It doesn't cost anything. All you have to do is agree to quite a few things that are simple, and you go there and you'll be trained and you'll come away with a skill. So that'll be Larry Durham will be with us on the first half of the show. Second half, we're going to get schooled a little bit by retired Colonel Mike Ford about the importance of Taiwan to this country's national security. And I think that's about it, Brian. Anything to add about what's coming up tonight?
No. Nice, quiet night tonight. Braves baseball on our sister station, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Trash Pandas are back tomorrow night, starting at 6 o'clock. So we'll see you here on Talk Radio WZZN.
Okay, and that's it, folks. We're going to go ahead and let you go. This is The Point with Bill Crawford and Brian Temple. And talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day.
Y'all look out for each other, won't you?
The man who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt.